Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is Sharonda, and this is my Spiritual Sense podcast. And give me just one moment. Let me get my recording set up. Okay, so this is Sharonda, and this is my Spiritual Sense podcast as well as webinar. And I am going to do a tarot card reading for today. Today being Wednesday, December the 8th, 2021. So bear with me just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to spread out my card and and then we're going to go into the reading for today. For those, as I get this spread out, for those who are listening in or will be listening in, I would like to let you know that if you are needing a class on how to uh, do the tarot card readings, I don't mind. I don't charge for the tarot card reading. I don't provide personal readings on tarot card, but I can give you a demonstration as to how you can read the cards. Okay, it does take some time when you are working with the cards in order to get a good understanding of how tarot card works. Okay, so let me proceed. Proceed. I like to say, Father Supreme Being of all being, give me infinite knowledge, wisdom, insight, and understanding as I do this reading. I don't know whether this reading is on, but I do feel like it's a relevant reading. I also like to state that this podcast, as well as this um, YouTube spiritual sense presentation, is optional. Um, if it's just so happened that the things that I mentioned coincide with your life, that maybe by happenstance or by chance. And what I mean by that is I'm not researching anybody, snooping in anybody's personal business or affairs, and then presenting this towards you. You will begin to see when you work with spirit and spirit work how the spirit of God happens to us all. Okay? I have no means of trying to convict or judge anybody as to what they do and don't do. Okay, because I have enough things that I am focused on. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say for entertainment purposes. Okay, now that being said, so I'm going to proceed to pull my cards, and I will begin by saying 10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm going to place these cards down and I'm going to proceed to pull the next deck of cards, which is my 80 weight card. So I'm going to go ahead and pull both decks and then we'll proceed, okay? Okay, so let me spread the cards out. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alrighty, so we're going to begin with the tarot card reading. So give me just a moment as we proceed. Just one moment. Okay, so I'm going to I think I'm going to lay down these cards first, which is my AE weight cards, okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. So right now, for card 1, I have Wheel of Fortune card. This is what the reading pretty much is in relation to. That's the Wheel of Fortune card. I have the hindrance or the blockage or barrier is the World card. Above that, I have the High Priestess card. Typically, when I get that card, it's in relation to something such as that. Some type of religious figure, or it could be somebody that that's in your family that you would deem to be of that quality, like a mother figure or aunt figure who may be religious or faith based leader, perhaps a coach, somebody that's a life coach or spiritual coach or advisor. Um, Card 4, I have a 10 of Cups. This is the issue. To my left, I have Queen of Cups. To my right, I have Knight of Pentacles. That's what I have. So I showed that is letting me know that judgment is falling down right now, is what it's letting me know. And I feel like I'm being visited by somebody who is not here, like who is on the other side. This is again a backwards reading, meaning a reading in reference to a previous reading that I did. And as I'm doing this reading, someone else steps in. So I feel like this is applicable to her situation as well. The person that visited me was actually a, acquaintance of mine and a colleague in the healthcare field as I work. Okay. Um, so she's given me some clarity and some understanding as to pretty much how things are transpiring right now regarding judgment. She's letting me know that um this is an insightful reading. I put it this way. It's an insightful reading. She's giving me understanding to let me know that um people who consider themselves prophets and prophetess, or it's another way of saying psychic, it's another way of saying advisor, it's another way of saying counselor, someone who is esteemed. Like, these people have been considered to be esteemed, is what that is. Um, she said that's similar to what we would consider to be a saint. Like, not necessarily that, you know, you are perfect, but you are held in a high regard. Like, your words speak relevance, your words speak power, is what she's letting me know. She says that um this is why they don't want you. This is why they've tried to keep you, because she said she's letting me know they did me the same way. She said they did me the same way. That's why I began to not speak prior to my passing. If you notice, I never indulged none of my personal business. I kept to myself. I was very private. She said I can see those things in you, is what she lets me know. She said because of my radiance and my countenance, a lot of people gravitated to me. And a lot of people who did this mocked me, is what she said. They made me to look foolish, is what she mentions. She also says that they used this to keep me from pursuing my destiny. Like ultimately, it was already set in stone what I was brought here for, but what I wanted. Oftentimes we don't get what we want. That's what she mentions in this life experience. And she says that what these people did that was around me simply pushed me up to mark me, to continue, in other words, to continue perpetuating me, making them stay ahead. That's what she says. And she says, I began to see these same characteristics and same principles and things being done to you. She said, God made me to see that. She said, God, this is why, walked with you prior to my transition. She said, because we judge, we do judge, is what she says. She said, we do judge and see things one sided, and we don't see it for what it is. She said, but now that, prior to my transition, the eyes became open and I was able to see things in a different, manner. That's what she says. And that's when I knew they never intended for me to do anything outside of what I'm doing. It's what she says. And she says, so I want it to be known that um your words are very powerful. And this is a personal message, like, to myself. That's what I'm getting at from her. And it's applicable to somebody else as well. I feel as though there's two people that comes into place. That means who are no longer here, that this message is guiding me through. It's two. He said your words are very powerful. And when you begin to realize how powerful your words are, people don't like that. They don't like when you have the ability to decipher and to see beyond what popular belief are. And she said this is what, quote unquote, a saint is. She lets me know that you don't believe everything you hear. And what is bound by this time and space is not applicable to you. Also, she tells me, she says, fool, This is the attitude. She said, you are right. She said, you are right to fool and deceive them, meaning not necessarily to fool and deceive them, but in the context of don't let your left hand know what your right hand doing, so to speak. You are correct in doing that. You are absolutely correct in doing that, is what she lets me know. She said, you are very correct in doing that, Sharonda. It's what she, you know, and just gathering this. And I feel like this message is applicable not only to me, but I feel like it's another nurse that comes into place right now, um, that this is applicable to as well. Okay. But I feel as though this is what that message is for today. She also I have the card. I have card 8, which is what with a surrounding. So I show the 8 of Wands. She said a lot of this stuff is coming from um not the paid battles of the sexes, or devil's advocate, or whatever the case may be, but it's coming from the person that is the opposite of you, so to speak, meaning the one that don't have what you have. And I keep it at that. And you can take that as you want to take it. It's coming from the one that doesn't have what you have, is what it lets me know. She said it's the one that doesn't have what you have is what that is coming from. Um, that is surrounding. She also lets me know this is 9. Um, hopes, fears, and dreams. Knight of Swords. She said this is why they're trying to get rid of us. That's what she said. She said, and I feel like this message. I feel as though this message is for the few chosen ones who are in this industry, meaning healthcare. I feel like I'm speaking in regards to the industry today because I'm prompted to put my uniform on and speak on this topic as such. But she says that they're trying to get rid of us. That's what she lets me know. They're trying to transition us out the door, meaning in a physical sense, meaning like get us out of this field as well as get us out of, like, there's a depopulation as well. Like people on the inside working to put us out. It's the point, so to speak, like having something to infiltrate and agitate and deviate or you know dissipate, infiltrate, agitate, and dissipate out. Is what it lets me know. It's what she's telling me. She said this is what they're trying to do right now. Also, she lets me know that the outcome is there's fear. She says they're fearful of us, and I have the outcome being the 5 of Swords. When you are sure of who you are and you have the tools, or you have the know-how and the weapon, so to speak, or meaning the power, people don't like that, and certain ones don't like that. They don't like that at all, and they will try to hurt you, is what she's letting me know. Okay, so I'm going to turn these cards. Okay, I got that same thing here. 10 outcome. 10 is 10 outcome, which is what? The root of the issue. Happiness, good things, party, or celebration. She said you are absolutely correct about um celebrated peoples and saints. That is true. Card 9, with the Secrets of the Tarot deck. travel overland surveying your kingdom. She said, yes, those spirits do come back in this time and space and they oversee and overlook, meaning they want to see what damage has been done. So they'll bring it around and they snoop and they look and they pry and try to find somebody that they can agitate, um, infiltrate, agitate, and dissipate, meaning put out. She said, yes, they do that. Surrounded by core 8, peace and harmony, needing to take the blindfold off, keep reassuring the situation at hand. So, in other words, what they come out to do is what she's telling me is to um put you out, put you out, because they have already formulated in their head that when you come from a certain area and when you come down here with it, they already have it already put in place. Yeah, we can go ahead and get rid of that one. That's what she lets me know. 7, attitude, page of wands, young woman to 25, travel overland. She says, this is something that they did to me. She said they has a vendetta against us younger. Um, she says they have a vendetta against us younger, the younger women, honey. They have banded against us, is what she lets us know, and we have become very frightened. And it's so funny because I'm started off my reading one way, and it has came somebody else comes into mind. So this is what she's letting me know. This is what they did her in her younger years prior to her demise or her transition. The same with this second person. So I feel as though it's two people that have stepped in, and this is what they're guiding me to speak about in terms of what happened to them as younger girls. Like it was a how can I put it? It was a study, so to speak. Like they used this small town as a test town, like a study town. And they figured a way of how they can what? Get us into a system. She said they targets towns where you might not find people on the map. You might not find too many EMS services or certain services to where we can be tracked, so to speak. And she says they set up shop and they studied and they watched us for years, and they brought certain jobs into the town as such. And the only thing them jobs did was monitor us and keep up with us. She said it is a community based governmental systemized uh, way of handling the population. That's what she tells me. She said God showed this to me as I was a young girl, and I got to the point where I seen where you was headed. I seen that what happened in my town happened in another town as well as happened in your town. And she said he sealed me from telling you. You notice that prior to my you know changing, they tried to. This is why they try to keep us from speaking to each other, because once they have given you something, most people would say, well, why she said this is why I would lie and tell people that I was a nurse. I didn't aspire to be a nurse, is what she lets me know. I did not want to be a nurse. She said the reason why I did that is because um to be in a company with you, to get that acknowledgement. In other words, to make you aware of what they did. Because what they would do to us is like if two of the same can have the same, so to speak. So what that means is jealousy means that if I stay next to let's say Joanne, if Joanne decides she wants to go and be a nail technician, I can't go do that. So I got to go do something different than what she does. You catch my drill? And this is why they do us like that, to keep us from comparing notes as to what the real issue is at heart. It's what she lets me know. She says, so this is why I wanted them, I lied to them. She said, I was not trying to defraud anybody. I wasn't trying to take nobody's identity or anything. I wanted answers. I wanted somebody to speak for me. Is what I wanted. She said, because what they began to do to us, this is jealousy. Like, this is jealousy. It has to be taught. If you go do this, then that one can't go do that. And this is how they keep us in the dark about things. And this is how a lot of the test subjects and test dummies and all that stuff come into focus, because they target us, because people forget about us. We're in the boondocks. No one cares about us. Like, nobody really pays much attention to us. And she mentions to me, this is the same thing that is applicable in these islands and certain desolate countries as well. And when they get over here, they become, quote, Americanized, and they forget the reason as to them coming here in the first place. You're supposed to be speaking for the people. You're supposed to be speaking for the people. That's what she is letting me know. And I'm another person come to mind as I'm speaking, but I feel as though I'm pulling off of two people who have transitioned over, who's giving me this wisdom and this insight today. I do. I honestly do. She said they get us based on lack of attention, meaning not paying attention to what really the issue is. A lot of y'all are focused on stuff that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You need to pay attention. So we did 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Strength. Card 6. Inner strength. Confrontation with yourself or others. She said, prior to my passing, we was battling big time. She said it had got so bad with my family. It was really bad with my family. And she said, I was taught early on in life, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, meaning what happens in this house or in this town or in this space or place, you keep to yourself. And it will become apparent to you when you go into these facilities. As such, it will become apparent to you, and they will use people as an example to make that apparent as to what he means when he mentions about the covenant. And I know. It was what she says to me. Also, she says that we have what? Now that's the strength card. That's number 6. That was transpiring at the time of her, prior to her passing. Now this is what the past was. This is card 5. 5 of Wands, arguments, battles around you. So she said, I just mentioned this. She said that it was bad off. She said prior to me transitioning on, it was bad. And this is how come I had to leave off from down there, because I had to speak for them. And when I got up there, I got sidetracked and I forgot about them. And they banned against me. And I'm not going to go into specifics as to who I'm talking about, but I do feel as though her spirit is speaking to me. And I'm speaking on terms of two people So I feel like it's applicable to those two people, and then somebody else come into place. That means, or come to mind, meaning somebody that's alive. I feel as though that situation is applicable to her as well, but I feel as though it's two people who is no longer here that this situation is applicable to. Okay, if you can understand what I'm talking about. Um, Four, the root of the issue, the moon, deception or delays, emotions up and down, maybe deceiving yourself, emotional others. She said a lot of the things that they was getting around here telling people were simply lies. And they got mad because I got one more card to pull. She said they got mad at me because, I didn't want to listen to it. And they banned against us. Okay, part three. Two of Pentacles. This is above the situation. Minor confusion, juggling two situations or ideas around. She said the whole time. She said, I'm just gonna put it out there. They were they was doing some other stuff. She said they were doing other things. Is what she mentions to me. She said it was off into some other stuff that you know I'm just gonna even in this time and space. She said they was off into some other stuff. Kind of, they was is what she mentioned. Uh, the sun, which is card two, which is hindrance or blockage. She said they didn't want they were not happy. They were not happy is what she let me know. In other words, they talked one thing and were doing something else. Like it wasn't what it appears to be. They didn't want nobody to see it for what it was. Also, she mentions um I have here card one, the lovers card, love affairs, romance building. Again, within marriage, relationships, relatives, love and relationships you can share with your friend. I honestly feel as though um she's letting me know that um um they use that situation to bring attention to um what was transferring in the town that she lived. And as a result, when you bring quote unquote God into the place, meaning when you bring people that don't know, is what she's trying to tell me. When you bring the ones who think they're above into place, who ain't been there and who don't know, that's what broke all of that up. Because they've been conditioned to just see things one way and not to be understanding of it. Simple as that. And that's what has happened with that situation when you introduce confusion and chaos into a situation. People can only go by and judge it based on what they have been conditioned to know what it is. And as I speak on this, another situation comes up as well in regards to what's happened in the media as well. You know, I'm pulling off somebody else's spirit as well because I feel like this situation is applicable in the instances with her as well, to where you have to be careful. That's why they don't like certain people um in and out certain towns because we have been groomed and conditioned for certain coding and understanding and clarity on a situation. So when you have outsiders coming in who don't know what they're talking about, they don't know what that is. And that's why they, formulated that term craps in the barrel and trying to keep people, contained to a certain neighborhood or even and that's why they had to explain to these people or explain to people that's not applicable to everybody. That might be applicable to you, that's not applicable to everybody. Okay. But that's what she wanted to be known is that that's what had happened during the time of her being here. The time that she was here, her life's journeys, her path, her life experience is what she wants me to know. So I feel as though excuse me, that was a insightful reading in regards to what transpired in her passing, and and she also says that um that you are right. When you begin to mock God, you will become the very thing that you mocked. She told me, she just mentioned to me that that is true. She said that is so true. You do not mock God. And when you call yourself a so-called pastor or preacher, you better hold that in high regard because I'm going to explain to you, you got some individuals out here that if you do anything to the contrary, they will make a mockery out of you. Plain and simple. She said that is true. That is true. And oftentimes when you go off into these different um, you know, religious settings and things of that nature, um, and you call yourself a so-called esteem or a leader, people gonna begin to take note of your words, and then they're gonna begin to take note of the ones around you. And she said, so this is why they try to keep us down, because you got to know and you have to be obsessive compulsive as to your craft and your brand. Because if you say anything to the contrary, they will try to send you to hell, so to speak. She said, so this is why a lot of us don't try to go do anything. That may be applicable to certain people who actually take on those jealous, malice feelings. But this is really the true meaning behind it for those who are spiritually in tune and mature. You'll be forced to eat those words. And oftentimes they'll target not only you, but those around you, such as your colleagues, friends, and family. Plain and simple. And when they say colleague, I mean COLLEAGUS. Colleagues. Okay? So I am going to close out this spiritual sense daily reading for today. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you're more than welcome to comment below. Until then, you have a safe and wonderful day and good day.